About to get started in a minute, all right? Hey, what's going on, boss man? What's going on with you? You
What
know,
is up?
oh, yeah, nothing much, man. I tell you, I had you. We back. Shouts out to Mo Facts up in here. We back. I'm about to
We
go
back.
ahead and get this. Yeah, I had to transition over because I was shouts out to Bobby Cash. That was the live he did, and we know he's gonna rock out with you because you have your perspective and more in depth with certain things, and we could just rock out. This is the pilot with us, with me and you. We could just do the thumbnail and all that with later on, and we could rock out. But how you feeling though tonight?
I'm alright, man. It's a little earlier here. What is it? 9 o'clock there.
Yeah, it's 9 p.m. over 9:24 p.m. over here. What time is it over there?
6:24.
In the
California
morning?
time. No, no, no. Evening. California time.
Oh, dang, my
I'm,
bad. But
and I'm just 3 hours behind. That's all.
okay. All right. So dang, you had matter of fact, speak about like you don't have to, but what you've been going through the past couple of weeks.
Not much, man. I mean, apart from, I just got into like a crazy car accident on Christmas Day. Um, Long story short, the car flipped 5 times over off the freeway. I was a passenger. We all survived, but yeah, it was kind of wild. I'm definitely still in the recovering lacerations and all the stitches and my back and that. So it's interesting. Needless to say, I don't know. There's a lot. There's a lot. I don't know. I don't know what to say, but I didn't cheat death, but I got a second chance at life. How about that?
Yeah. So explain that though, that part with how like it flipped over 5 times, you said?
Yeah, 5 times. That's as many. That's pretty much when I how much I recollected, but I was definitely sober. So, but the car did flip 5 times. Kind of, let's just say the driver, he maintained like low key, it's relatively the same speed on the freeway exiting, and he should have slowed down a little bit more. It was a really hard turn, and so the car didn't have it's one of those kind of old cars from the early 2000s, one of those old Toyota sedans. So it kind of flipped
Mm.
over for yeah, it flipped 5 times, and then I had to crawl out of the car that was upside down, and then the rest was just like I don't know. I want to get into it. It's still fresh. I'm not sure if I want to like speak on it too much, but yeah, the entire thing was the car got caved in. You're crawling out of a upside down car. You have to rescue. You got to rescue, or at least try to figure out how everybody is. We all got. It's kind of crazy, like how we all survived, which is interesting. I suffered the most of the injuries in that car crash with me, but you're trying to rescue those in the back that were, I'm trying to rescue the passengers in the back that were pinned. I but then again, like I got so much from the whiplash to like at the moment right now, it's kind of tough to breathe at times.
Damn.
Spine, yeah, because you kind of, I guess I suffered some contusion, but your body, when you're flipping, I guess maybe your spine is being moved around so much, and a lot of bones are being impacted, so you kind of just like, I don't know what to say. Like I'm so lucky, at least, like, hey, one thing at least, if anything, even having survived, the worst case scenario for me is now being like, what is it called, like not just handicapped, but like, buddy, like I'm not, fucking sipping through a straw. Like that's the
Damn.
worst quality of life. No, 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 I'm not that, but I'm just saying like the situation could have easily created that. Actually, many the firemen had spoken about like how the people in the front um were the situation we're both in, because I was a front passenger. The situation we're both in, they were surprised how we were even able to crawl out, just kind of how it was so dented in. I didn't even know either, but I found my way out of there. So because we either would have suffered some really crazy injuries, and or potentially even fatality. So it's been an interesting like Christmas Day, but that's a seven, baby. That's the lucky seven and unlucky seven. It's really interesting because it was a Christmas Day and we talk about numbers, and that's so interesting. I was learning about like the seven and how like it's God's number, and it definitely can be an unlucky as well. Then you find
Hmm.
that like seven is apparently like the unluckiest number, or one, or I think it is actually the unluckiest number in the 12 in the numerology pack. Apparently,
Mm.
which is funny because what's the one?
See
It's
five,
interesting. No, which is funny because what's the number one number you see in Vegas?
seven, three
Dude,
sevens.
it's a psyop, G. Like it's essentially that's a seven. Apparently, it's supposed to be. It's really interesting, like to understand that number. It's like apparently that number is put on there. Um, the numbers put on there, and to pretty much trick people to rely on it. But that's why most people don't even win in Vegas. It's
Mm.
opposite. It's kind of like how like they tell you not to go to Florida, but then you have to wonder, then why are the elderly retiring in Florida? Like how Florida's so crazy and don't go there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But then you look at the elderly and in Florida, etc. And you're wondering like, well, then why are all the elderly going to Florida then to retire? I understand like the landing situation. You know what I'm saying? It's always like the
Yeah.
opposite. You always gotta look at why.
Man, that's crazy right there, man. I definitely glad you made it out, and the numbers thing is very important. But my question is the numbers, since I look at you, I call you the narcissistic expert because you introduced me to many realms of it. But
Mm-hmm.
is there numbers that apply for that? One thing, okay, today before we talk,
What you mean?
it was covert narcissist or overt narcissist. Can you please explain that briefly for the chat and me again?
Oh, what you mean, a covert and overt? Like, I mean, you can probably look up
A
like the actual
codependent,
definition. Well,
like
codependent,
you yeah, go ahead. My bad. Codependent.
that's just more of like that's just more of like a symptom of narcissism, right? Because you look for supply and then you end up those people who are who have
I'm trying
narcissism
to.
when they're looking for like a supply of some sort that they can see. Usually, supply has to always be something better than you, something you can aspire to. What is perhaps even like the fake shell. Like let's say I'm trying to be a fake. Let's say I'm trying to pose as something, but and there's this fake shell of something that I'm giving out to the world, even though inside there's an empty shell and bullshit, pretty much. This front. Meanwhile, the person next to me is everything I ever wanted to be, and it's almost like a natural and bursting out in energy. I'm gonna find my way to attach myself to him, not only by the way that he brings me attention, but also he becomes the energy source. But then you also end up creating a codependence. And now these people want to keep you in their lives. They don't want you to leave because they're sucking that energy out of you. And that codependence becomes in place when now you start taking care of them, your needs become their needs. You end up losing part of you because they end up taking that's different. That's more of like a symptom, right?
Damn.
And through codependence, you start essentially seeing behavior of, you know, like manipulative behavior, from language to, just like it's different, mirroring, etc. Like that's just you understand, like what you're saying about overt and covert. That's more of like, those are more like more larger terms, like covert narcissist versus like malignant narcissist, right? Malignant, as I said, I like to look at them as like dad and mom. I think we spoke about this before. Where like your mom kind of is the mostly the covert. It doesn't mean you don't have moms out there who are malignant, but you have
Ooh,
covert narcissists. And they're definitely those who are malignant, malignant who are angry, they're physical. Mom tends to play like the covert game. That's usually the case, right? She's the one giving you the mind games. Covert is usually like under the wall, under the table. Like you're not really seeing it, but you're seeing it. If it's very unknown, only known to the victim. Um, so usually like like mom plays like your mother usually plays like the mental game, right? Like staring at you when you don't do something, like, or when you do something wrong, and now she says a lot without saying anything, and there's long uncomfortable stares, those things that will trigger something in you, and then if should not get through you, what do they always say? Wait till your father gets home. At that point, he's the malignant one because he's gonna step in and give you that physical, actual abuse that will set you straight. So it's interesting. Um,
yeah.
yeah,
And
and
my
then but in
question,
between there's a spectrum. It really is a spectrum, like as vast as the rainbow, but really as a color spectrum, because there's so many things that each category has subcategories that it all depends on specific things. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
What personalities you develop in different stages, etc. It's really interesting. I really think that we kind of throw away that word. So I don't know why, and I guess it peaked. I don't know why all of a sudden narcissism
it,
came.
it peaked recently. Not actually
Yeah,
been
in
around,
like
but yeah,
2021. Yeah, like 2021 ish. You start seeing it now being thrown within podcasts and
yeah.
within all across, and it starts getting watered down. But at the same time, what's taking place? Dr. Ramani is also going through a that's so funny. What's hold on, that's so funny. Because last year, wait, 2021, right? No,
Yeah.
2022 is when I would say last year is when I would say I am seeing that in a great deal all across the board from Dr. Ramani to 2022, right? Would you say so?
I say so around that time, yeah, because she was
You know, it's
popping up
really
a lot.
it's really funny. Two
What's that?
plus two, 2022 is 2 plus 2 plus 2. Six is the number of family.
That's like by default, you saying mom,
Yes,
dad,
yes,
three.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Six is the
Okay.
number of family in the entire. This is like, even you can speak it from the what's the boy name? 19 keys to whatever. Yeah, yeah, six is the number of family, and for that to be the year of conversations about family dynamics, I find it funny. And then this year, there's a very big conversations towards. Well, 2023 was the seven, which is God's number, and you see a big transition. Even within Africa too, people start having conversations about ancient, uh, just the conversation about God, but God in the untraditional way that we have known. Now we're having conversations towards numerology. Numerology is piercing through those. You know what I'm saying? That's what we've had to do. But like those guys that I came across, all of a sudden, a 19 keys ends up bringing. What's his name again?
Oh,
That
dang, I forgot. I
yeah,
forgot
but
his name.
I'm talking about. Yeah, all of a sudden he comes in place because there's now 2023 being God's the number as a seven. All of a sudden there's a thirst for actual that's education pertaining to the God and that spiritual God. You understand? And you're seeing it through TikTok, etc. You saw all of a sudden and YouTube. So that's kind of that conversation is taking over the algorithm. Maybe this year there will be an interesting money is the eight. I definitely see that.
So real
Someone,
quick though, Brian, real quick.
uh-huh.
I'm gonna let you cook, but I need your help right here because I just came
Here we
across
go.
this video and I want you. We ain't gonna play the whole thing, but I want to play a good portion of it, and I
Go
want you
ahead.
to give your analysis on it. This is old footage, like so. Yeah. Let's
That
get
must
to it.
feel good to travel to important places and meet a lot of important people.
Well, not exactly. I feel
Can y'all
cut
hear
off
it?
from the rest of the world.
Yeah.
When I
Okay.
Kind
accepted this promotion as Executive Secretary of Advertising, I thought it was going to be a major step upward for me.
Yeah.
Now I'm not sure why I accepted this promotion. I mean, they're obviously much too dim to realize that my suggestions are the first glimmer of genius this company has seen in years. On Tuesday, I pointed out to the board that a few minor changes in the new campaign could easily send sales soaring. Could they comprehend that? No. I mean, did they not realize that it was my vitality and my immaculate organizing abilities that pushed Estelle's to the top of the market? I think they're just too jealous to accept my ideas. Any other company would have absorbed them. They passed right over them.
Now, is this acting or is this the real deal? Let me go ahead.
I gotta be honest. It's
Actor. See,
definitely
see,
a
it said this is an actor portrayal.
yeah. I
We're
was
gonna
gonna
go.
say no. Well, it definitely felt rehearsed. I
It
mean,
felt
apart from
like
the
it
great,
was.
felt rehearsed. The speech patterns just felt like yeah. It felt like she was reading a script.
Yeah, she's like,
Like
ugh, ugh.
this is a do I know? No, it almost felt like a script reading.
Yeah.
I mean, apart from that, there was definitely a sense of grandioseness. Um, with that
Ooh,
too.
explain that.
Well, like I'm the reason why everything went, and I'm the not. I'm pretty sure not diminishing what took place. Also, I will say maybe I may need to watch it again, just but at the same time, yeah, no, yeah, with my opinion, yeah, it definitely felt a little rehearsed, or at the very least, um, she definitely before sitting in that seat had to go over what she was gonna say. If it was not real by way of, if it wasn't authentic at the moment by way of how it was said at the moment, it definitely was rehearsed. Like, how do I say this? Like, yeah, it just seemed practiced. Like before being there, before being put in a hot seat. Okay, I'm gonna say it this way. I know how I'm gonna pause, and da da da, etc.
Yeah,
Being media
that's
trained,
what.
yeah, she's media trained at the very least.
Yeah, yeah, and it had verified. It said that that was an actor thing. Now it was this one woman I had wanted to find. Give me 1 second, real quick, because I'm gonna find it.
No worries. I'm actually
Well,
gonna grab it.
actually, I'm gonna hit you with a surprise on it,
Okay.
and I want you to definitely because I've been following her channel, and she definitely goes in. It's like whoa, like hold on now. I don't know where this might be going at, but okay, I'm gonna
Narcissists
play it right here. This
Who
is
is it?
her. Just look at the eyes.
often have to create a false self, which
Dead eyes.
is something that makes up for the lack of inner characteristics that they seem to have. Because they have no ingrained sense of self or personality, they are the easiest people to break. A narcissist doesn't have an internal sense of self. Everything that they want to portray, everything that they want to be, is shown in their false self. This is something they've created because inside they are so fragile that they could break at any given time. This overinflated ego is here because
And this right here, since you see the title, this is a clinically diagnosed sociopath woman speaking
Yeah,
about the
it makes sense
definition.
because her eyes are dead.
You see the eyes, it's like predator. I'm
Oh
not
yeah,
trying to say
but
she is a predator, but
oh
I'm saying it's
but
like jungle. You know, like come on, when we talk about serial killers, remember that time we
buddy,
went on serial killers?
which one? Which one?
Yeah, I'm not
Well,
saying,
you've been on a bunch, but in
oh yeah,
different
I've been on a
segments.
bunch, but I'm not saying it's 100% y'all in the chat, but it's like even though she got the mascara and the makeup on, I seen her without it on her channel because I follow her channel. It's almost like a cheetah in the bushes looking like
Oh,
it's
just that,
slant.
just how dead, just the dead stare.
Yeah, like you can
She,
see on my like it's just like a
you
little.
know, the eyes are the key to this fucking soul, mother of God, and hers are dead beast.
She got that down pat. Like, well, let me see. Hold on.
within there is an inferiority complex and they will do anything in their power to
You
not
see
let you
that deep
see their
stare,
real
that
self
down?
because they're
It's like a goddamn cat, man. I don't
so
know.
ashamed.
Bro, buddy, I would be scared. I'm not even joking. This is a woman that when you turn off your lights, when you hit that lamp like this, you not do the dishes and she hit you with that downward stare, and then you take the trash out.
Oh man, she ain't playing no games, buddy. She
She
ain't
needs to
playing. And
like,
she,
and she needs a press kit, and she needs to be in like horror films. She is perfect for it. Mother
let
of
me
God, she
go.
looks she's so like she's like manufactured in a way, like doll, like a doll.
Oh damn, Ryan going in, ain't it?
No, it's not like
Reverse.
it's just well, I guess I'm seeing older videos, so I guess it's different. The first one you sent, those seem a little more human, or not human, but more.
The
Well,
female.
those I, well, maybe these are those were those her real eyes, or was she using contacts?
ever since she started this YouTube channel, she had those same eye colors. So I don't know if she
You
keeps
know,
them
I
on.
forged my parents' signature, which
She
We'll
seems
see.
more
I was
normal
a
now.
minor. You can like retroactively like arrest me or something.
Oh,
I
I
don't
say
know.
normal,
Do
I mean
whatever you want.
relatively normal.
Is she from Britain?
I
I'll let you hear the
don't know.
language.
The female sociopath. That's her brand. Okay. At least she's like
It's
Sam
owning
it's
has
it.
a
like
really big
thriller
butthole. and
stabbing
No,
it's
no,
kind of.
it's normal sized.
terrifying.
It's normal sized. It's normal
terrifying.
sized. Kanika smells.
Hey guys, it's Kanika. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my lived experiences as a female sociopath.
You can tell
I'm
she's a
going to discuss
sociopath.
a little bit.
Go
You
ahead,
can
go
tell
ahead.
she's
Explain.
you say she's a sociopath, huh? That's her brand.
Well, they said clinically on the, from what they said psychopaths are born, sociopaths are made.
Yeah, oh, psychopath. Well, whatever. I mean,
She's clinically diagnosed as a sociopath, so she been made that way through her environment or trauma or corporation or whatever the situation was. That means you can make anybody a sociopath.
oh, 100%. But she has that. Oh, you can tell, homegirl's
I think it's been born, Loki. Let me go.
She's
into
manipulative though.
what
You
the
can tell.
difference is between a male sociopath and a female sociopath. Please make sure you like and subscribe, and also if you could donate to Variety for me for basically everything, and then I kind of ruined the mouth area by eating, so I did the lipstick and that's why it doesn't look great, but she is incredible. I will link her in the description. Just go and see what she has to offer. It's just, I love her so much. So there's a huge difference when it comes to male sociopaths and female sociopaths in the way that they act and the way that they are treated. This is obviously due to sex-based biases in society as well as, in medical literature. First of all, of course, a female is far less likely to be diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder in the first place. Usually when a woman exhibits the signs of it, they'll go into a psychiatrist's office and be told, nope, you have BPD. And obviously this is very harmful to be misdiagnosed. It's because women are not expected to do stuff that is antisocial, right? Women are meant to be kind, nurturing, caring, motherly. They're meant to be softer, weaker, smaller. Basically, they cannot imagine what a female sociopath or psychopath would actually be like in real life. And this is somewhat based in reality because female sociopaths and psychopaths are different from their male counterparts. This is primarily seen, firstly, in physical aggression. Men do tend to be more physically violent. I'm not saying that as a stereotype. I'm not trying to blame men in general. Women tend to show their aggression in different ways, especially when it comes to psychopathy and sociopathy. So while we do,
So far she's not falling for the gender wars, like how I was trying to sense some heartstrings being pulled when she said women are appear to be politer, kind, or weaker and all that. It's like those words, I'm like waiting for a nonverbal cue gesture, but it's not there. And it's like, what you think about that? Like, and with narcissism, can somebody be a narcissist and a psychopath, sociopath? Like, what do you think, bro?
We like to call them. Yeah, no, you can be. I mean, we call. I mean, there's terms like BPD, right? Like you're on this, like narcissists can be saved, right? At this point, I mean, it's tough, right? They have to make a decision themselves. She has self-awareness. I mean, that's at the same time. Like, think about it. There's a term called dark empaths.
Mm-hmm.
The ones, yeah, you know what I'm saying. So, exactly, those who like to they got feet in both sides. I'm gonna
feet
be
in both
extremely.
sides.
I like to be extremely almost like at this point I've accepted both. Like yeah, they're those who are extremely aware of their behavior and and all extremely empathetic, but their environment has still hardwired them to be a certain way, and they keep that. Now they're playing a game of of like being the angel and the demon at the same time. There are those who are that, and there's some who are just wearing that straight the halo and the you got the demon thing, but then at the same time there's those who've gone fully. See, someone like her, I mean, she's aware, which takes. I mean, for me, it's like even though she's aware, man, I don't know. A date's gonna be good. A date's gonna be mind games all day, because she has it might be the camera, but she does have these, like, what are they called? The dark uncomfortable stare.
And how they like
That's
just explain
manipulative.
manipulate? Okay, like
All right.
seductive. Okay.
No, like that's definitely like, when you're, it's kind of like, I forgot the term. I remember Samuel Jackson used to use. Samuel Jackson, sorry, Samuel. Who's that dude? Eric, Kevin Samuels. He used to have a certain, like, acronym, which is kind of funny. But like when you're trying to manipulate somebody, there are certain things people tend to do. Pretty much like long, uncomfortable stares. And, most people are not only staring is rude, but most people are not necessarily, like, don't appreciate that and kind of fold under pressure. The childlike state takes over, just because the last time you kind of get that, it goes. And obviously, like, if you're strong enough, you can burst through that. And at that point, it's a Uno reverse card. They can't get through you. But some people are easily, once they find a supply, they know how to break through you. That's very easy for them, because it almost becomes like a trigger point, like you being back in your childlike state. So you got dark uncomfortable stares. They use endearing terms. There's manipulative language that takes place, and manipulative. You know what I'm saying? Like using touch, and there's a lot. I mean, in a way, like, seduction takes place too with that. I don't know, in a way that, but it's just it's a part of manipulation. I can just tell in her past life, if not now, she knows how to get her way. She knows how to get things for sure.
All right,
For
hold on real
sure.
quick.
Go ahead.
We about to play this part. This is the most you part right here. Hold on.
That she is everything he's been looking for in a partner. It's pretty easy for a man to love bomb a woman. For a woman to love bomb a man, she needs some special talent, because it's not as easy as just texting him constantly. He's going to run in the opposite direction as soon as he can. So I'm a narc, and I obviously love being chased. So I have guys that have gotten obsessed who would say that they want to marry me, that I'm the only girl for them. And these are not sociopathic men, for the most part. One of them was. So it's different. I just go along with it. I just gloss over that shit. I know that it's not true entirely. I know that they're not going to run off and try to get married to me. Although
She's not thinking from the emotional aspect. I mean, and this is why, shouts to the Mo Facts, we said this, where it's certain people who be like, they'd be like, men think logically, women think emotionally. And it's like, you gotta be careful with that, because there are some women who, without no clinical diagnosed thing, is logical. Actually more logical than certain men with it, like, for real. But it's just default, they're trying to make it as a prime. But you see, you just had mentioned, you said that she probably get away with the manipulation or going through. Like, she said she don't believe none of that when they say, I want to marry you, I want to run away with you and all that. She said she just brush over that bullshit, just go, what do you think with that?
Or how she can read people?
I guess so. Is that? Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like, as I said, like, I think for her to have and like, first of all, she owns it. I'm a narcissist, right? I'm a narc. I think for you to even have that, most people who are narcissists don't even accept that. Usually, when you tend to call somebody out who is a narcissist, there's almost this immediate, like, I'm not this. Almost they get defensive, etc. They don't even want to own that, because a narcissist at the end of the day gives off the image of perfection. So by calling me a narcissist, you are essentially breaking that image, right? So for her to have this, not only a show, but let alone at this point even own up to narcissism, is a level of maturity in itself. She is, while there is definitely a brokenness in here for sure, because you have to have been, to be a narc, there is definitely, as I said, there is an empty shell outside of the image you're portraying in the front, right?
Damn.
For you to, it really is. And so, because usually that's what a narc is, and as I said, they keep people around them who are better versions of what they would ever be. And narcs are usually are a collective of different identities from people that they have seen or come across, that are putting it together to make one piece. You understand?
Okay, and
So
what's that thing to break in? My bad. What was, you said it could be like she's been, what was that? What can it be like that could cause her to be fragile from the inside? And it's for anybody. Like, give me an example.
Upbringing. I'm going to be honest. Upbringing, or whatever, some sort of trauma. Maybe she had a traumatic experience with her original caregiver that made her a little colder. Give her those kind of like bitch face, bitch eye, or the dead eyes. Dead eyes is those eyes be. It's the eye. Fuck the bitch face. I don't care about that. And, you know, I'm not saying she does have one. I think this video is a lot more livelier than the first one you sent. That one kind of felt like, dude, she almost looked AI. Maybe it's just the makeup or what it was. She seems to, maybe it's the hair. Maybe it's this time her hair. She feels like she just came out of the shower. There's something at least a little more human in this situation, right?
Yeah.
She does. At least objects are real. It feels that way. For that one, she feels like a manufactured body. Maybe once again, it's color and maybe it's the blondness. But as I said, the awareness in itself of giving yourself that identity of a narcissist and claiming that, goddamn it, she's wearing it on her sleeve, put it even as a brand. I think that in itself had to have a lot of awareness of oneself and how she coexists amongst others. Like as I said, for me to know all this information would first have to come from my own trauma, and then to understand that trauma and what I'm going through, I dug through information, right? Dug through information to understand what I'm going through, and now I'm able to even understand my environment better. I feel like for her trauma allowed her to go through what she did, but instead of staying as a narc, that's a very quick death, but it's a long and slow. It's a quick death, but also it's a long and slow one. You know, quick death in terms of the child and the essence of who you should really be, but a long and slow one of how you just end up rotting. You know, but now for her, instead of her doing that, she decided to overcome that and understand it. That's why she can read others, because I said the same way I can and you can. You understand? Because at that
Yeah.
point, so that's what she's at with seeing other guys and being able to catch. She's been at the lowest of the low, and now she can call herself a fucking psychopath. Yikes! So you know, I don't know. I mean, kudos to her. I mean, that's actually extremely like, it's almost like wearing your you know, that's like saying alcoholic or whatever. You know, just something that is
A
frowned upon. You know,
badge, like
it's
an
a badge.
alcoholic badge. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a red flag to most. But you're really wearing it, and you're almost doing quote unquote God's work by, yeah, in a way, you know, that's big respect to her. But I would say the first video, she had me come off guard. This one's a little more lively or more human. Yeah,
We gonna go back to the first video. We go back to the first video after this. Don't worry.
Someone did propose in 3 weeks. So the thing is, for me, I obviously, like, when someone is interested in another person, they pretend to like the same things as them. I kind of take this to another level. I do my research, and even if I know nothing about a subject, I'll be like, no, that really interests me. It means so much. I also, for a previous ex, I pretended, like, I did so much research into cars. And I was like, no, I love hearing about cars. I love all of this. And obviously it made me so bored. I wanted to like stick a fucking fork in my eyeball to get out of there. But that's what I tend to do. I take it to another level. And that can be seen a lot with female sociopaths. They somehow always know what you love, and they know
and then they mirror you.
how much you love.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and then they mirror you. It's just a simple way of how it's simple. It's a narc honey trap. Pretty much like they see you and they're like, damn, you're the version I want to be in your essence, your spirit, how people gravitate towards you. What the bullshit shell I have put outside that I'm trying to get others to come in. And it seems like at some point people don't resonate with it. It ain't going my way. You just live it effortlessly. You understand? People resonate with you, how you talk, how everything about you. What they do is they mirror you. All of a sudden, it's very targeted first. They get to know you, and it's very targeted where they learn everything about you to mirror you. So you like the Giants? I fucking love the Giants, and trust me, they will learn everything about the Giants to get closer and closer to you. And as the closer and closer as you get, you start losing your guard down, because at that point he seems familiar, and we love familiar. We're human. There is never any conflict with him. It feels like he's almost always an emphasis to what I am about and what I'm into, right? And the moment you bring him or her into your circle, and then you really trust them, almost in a way you start actually almost relying on their opinion, they start to break you.
Okay, so check this out. Let's I got a little exercise. Let's say in another time, my memory about her is blank. Let's just say that I'm out and about in a public area, Starbucks, and let's say that she targets me. How you think she would do that? Just for
Wait, so you're
educational
at
purposes.
Starbucks? So you just at a Starbucks and what?
Yeah, and she talks to me, and then let's say she knows my channel, my YouTube channel before this video, like the nonverbal cues, FTN Bay, and all that era. How would you think she would target me?
Okay, so at this point, so you don't know her, she knows you, and at this, but
Yeah,
from okay, well, at this point, she's gonna at this point side and mirror everything about you because it's the whole point is if she knows I'm Grump and I like the Florida Marlins and I like fish and da da da, she's going to like every single part of everything about you and mirror you. So you're gonna be like best friends because at the end of the day, that's what tends to be. What do they say? Like we tend to hang out and gravitate toward like-minded individuals. She will be
yes.
your most like-minded individual you've ever seen.
So
Where
check this out.
others,
My
uh-huh.
bad. Even though with the nonverbal cues, let's say that for body language, let's say would that make it intimidated or make it like cautious with her? How would she approach that?
Well, of
Yeah,
course. I
let's say
mean, well,
that's something
no,
I
no,
take.
no.
That's something. Yeah, I know. My bad. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, once again, the thing about putting a shell is these people are essentially you get really good at playing a character where you end up forgetting playing yourself.
Oh, so you
So
saying okay?
you
She's still
understand?
like that.
So yeah, no, but that's what it tends to be. That's what manipulative tends to be. Because that's not really who they are until you find out who they are. Then you see the person, right? And then you realize that person hasn't worked on themselves as much as the person you met the first time that worked on themselves like a motherfucker for you to get sucked in the first place. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, exactly. Like let's say for instance, I say something about yeah, yeah, I went to get a haircut and all that, the loose ends and all that. And let's just say when you plan on like, you get your haircut and all that, and let's just say that was something from her past where I'm just making up a story. Let's say her mom traumatized her by, grabbing her by the hair and cutting it because she didn't like her beauty or something. And just me saying about do you get a haircut that might trigger her to go back to from the character to herself, like, what you mean? Da, 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 da. And I think I might pick up on that, be like,
If
hell?
she does, I mean, once again, I mean, if it's a trigger, sure. But once again, they're very targeted. The
Okay,
point
okay.
isn't to don't forget, the point isn't to get on your bad side immediately. The point is to actually get you into my side, or rather, me be on your good side, and then have you let your guard down. Then I break you. Misery loves company. So at this point, I want you to join my company, but I have to figure out your pressure points. So that's where they
Well, how
get
would she
into your.
break me?
Well, she'll find out everything about you.
Okay,
People,
how
think about it. The people who know the same way the same way if I know something about you or someone and that is extremely fragile or personal, within closed doors, I can control somebody's life.
okay, quick question. What happened? Let's just say
Oh,
she know my
but
back.
you saying
Yeah,
but you saying how can she break you? Simple. I
yeah.
mean, once you let your guard down, you end up trusting somebody. Trust gives you not only it only brings faith in in others, right? Like hopefully that they can do the same, right? So now you start creating expectations for somebody, but because at this point you are like-minded individuals, right? Because they liked everything you had or whatever, right? They pretty much reciprocated everything you were about. You are oh, we're on the same frequency, and all of a sudden now I may even ask you for your opinion. But over time, what ends up happening is these people want to break you. So when you get them in and you end up being like-minded individuals, and at this point you're hanging out, etc. They find ways. Absolutely, every story has one of those that finds ways to the master. Now
So
at this point, oh,
yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, but once they find that way, what they do is they end up being your biggest critic.
Okay, quick
And,
example. Let's just say she hear my back real quick. She hear my background. Like I don't tell let's say that I tell her behind closed doors, yeah, I was adopted and I had caregivers, my foster parents and all that. I don't know who my real parents is. Let's say if she come and be like, that's why you were dropped off at the orphanage. You'll never know who your parents is because they don't love you, they don't want you. Like I just do that as an example. Like would that how would she use that me being adopted to like kind of crack into me if that was a soft spot of me?
I mean, that is definitely an exam. I mean, that is a scenario of sorts. Okay, I mean, in that scenario, if you're adopted, I
Yeah,
would
let's
say
say
that at
yeah.
that point, I mean, at that point, she may use that as a default or some sort of reasoning as to why you're failing at something to crush your ego. Huh?
See, I
You
like that
understand?
because
Because at the end of the day, don't
yeah,
forget.
go ahead.
I was gonna say, because at the end of the day, so I'm about to cook. So then don't forget there is an empty shell within. Now, sometimes narcissism can come from feeling let down from a parent, like I feel empty, etc. And now because
Mm-hmm.
I feel empty, right? I feel
Yeah,
empty. Then I hear that you have a similar situation or whatever. They want you to feel as empty because that in itself, even that scenario of you. Well, that's why your parents that makes you feel empty because you feel less than. The whole point is to all of a sudden break your self-esteem is what I lack. So I figure out all your pressure points. So a parent absolutely and what somebody goes through within that childhood or their household is absolutely personal. And then for you to attribute that failure to that attachment to your parents, oh now you're cutting in deep. You know what I'm saying? Now you
yeah,
get
yeah.
so
But
you know what
go
I'm
ahead,
saying?
go ahead, keep cooking.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So the best thing is not only to know your best, it's mirroring, it's knowing everything about you, but at the same time to be able to mirror you because it's not an authentic relationship. It's a relationship based off of mirroring and based off of me trying to be always on your good. You know, these another word, yes men, for example, right? Because they always want to be those are narcissistic in a way because they just are using you for they're not real friends. They just that's what really a yes man is in actuality. They're just mirroring everything you want and everything you want to hear, right? Because at that point they're riding. You know what I'm saying? They're not there for any authentic means, not for your best interest, but theirs. But
And I
with
put
her,
that,
go
yeah,
ahead.
but with her, I put that in the low category because real quick, when I said about her saying that's why you're a failure, your parents don't love you, and you'll never know who your real parents is because they don't want you and all that. Let's say I looked at that as like, with my emotional intelligence, I'm not up top tier, but I look at that like, okay, like, all right, whatever, and don't talk for a week. But you came out the woodwork and be like the letdown thing to be like, don't be so hard on yourself. You come from an adopted family and all that. Like that's another way to get that pressure point. That's why I want to tell you about. Like, damn, I ain't look at it like
Be-
that. Yeah,
Because think about what you said earlier. You can a narcissist is somebody who is very easily to control. You can break them down, etc. Right? She said
yeah,
that earlier. But as I said in that regard, she wants you, and energy is not destroyed; is merely passed on. So she will project that same level. Really, it's a feeling of what is outside of this immense sense of bravado and this like you know what I'm saying. This false. Really, underneath there is an empty shell of inadequacy and emptiness. So when you tell somebody like that's why you're that create it doesn't matter what you have come up to, right? Let's say you become a lawyer or whatever, and
yeah,
let's say you're even grump. At the end of the
yeah,
day, there is still a child within. We are all dealing with. There's a child in everybody. It doesn't matter what it is. Even the lawyer in there still even like Johnny Cochran has something. You can get to that.
yeah,
I'm pretty sure with the FBI, with all the notes that they got on us, they know how to get to you.
yeah. Okay, you're right. You're right. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah. Everybody got a weakness, bro. There's a pressure point in everybody. Whether
Mm-hmm.
it's an addiction or it's a specific yeah, yeah, bro. We all have that. You know, it could even be
That's
food.
crazy.
So really, this is the dark psychopath of them studying you. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
once they study your weaknesses too, they come and get you. Because at the end of the day, don't forget, it's your perfection in itself that brought them in. Now it's a matter of finding out what your imperfections hurt and how we can emphasize them more to destroy the opposite. It's your
I
perfections
mean,
that brought them in. Do you understand? But now at this point, now it's really it's your perfections that brought me in, but now I need to find out your imperfections and highlight them in every capacity. So at this point, you forget who you really are, and now you become a slave to me.
boom. So let's
And now
say
they
one of them.
go ahead.
Let's say one of them is imposter syndrome. Like she found out my imperfection is like, damn, I feel like I ain't did nothing. Yeah, like go ahead, cook with that.
Oh, then even imposter syndrome, then she would absolutely highlight it. You don't deserve this. Oh, she'll be one of those. Oh no. Buddy, listen. A girlfriend who is unmarried can absolutely get in a girl's ear over time and say, "Oh," and let's say they see you kiss your boyfriend and they leave. You know he could be cheating on you, right? You never did it. You say a lie long enough, it becomes the truth in people's mindsets. It's literally how it is. It's
Yeah,
the same way music works and frequency works. You know, you'd be surprised how you can put a song backwards. You can say something in a song, but then in a music production, have it run backwards, and it actually gets put in your mind. You know what I'm saying?
yep, exactly.
So
Yep.
you can program people. Say a lie long enough, it becomes the truth. in people's eyes. So, funny enough, remember, just something random came in my mind. Remember the fucking dress, the gold dress and the blue dress, and niggas would say, nah, it's red. Remember, we had a whole 6 months where niggas was really in comment sections arguing. A year, goddamn it. So it's how programming works. So in that regard, like, if and also, it's just like how they say even in boxing, one of the biggest things in your career is to figure out in your personal circle when you walk in a ring who it is, because the moment you think you're going to lose the fight or even have an ounce of that within your circle, you have lost it. You know what I'm saying? So in that regard, if that's so easy, even if boxers know that, if to everything, she will know how to get to your ear. Now that you were once a like-minded individual, so naturally I brought you within my inner circle, and now within that I break you. Now you end up being that person's, because they want to be your confidant. Yeah, but it's very simple. And to break you, now you're no longer this person, and now you've joined my misery. But at the same time, you're not only going through a misery of oneself and of your own, but now the misery of being under my tyranny, my spiritual tyranny.
So yeah, like when you saying, he's cheating on you, he don't deserve you, and let's just say her husband be like, hey, I'm about to go out with Paul, we about to go to, the man cave, drink some beers. She'd be like, and just off of that lie keep being told to her by a woman like her, she'd be like, well, can I come? And she'll never ask that, but she'd be like, can I come? And he'd be like, man, this guy's night out and everything. Like, oh, you don't want me. You don't want to show them who I am. Something like that. You get what I'm saying? You see how I start to slowly trickle in?
Oh yeah. I believe the term is called creating an ounce of what is it called?
Doubt?
An ounce of doubt. Yes. Pretty much that's what it is. It's dropping ounces of doubt. So now at this point, your brain the brain is really interesting, especially not only the brain, but now you're dealing with a female brain. Not to be cliche or they're emotional, but they definitely tend to follow more of the emotional side of things than logical. You know what I'm saying? They are emotional creatures. So now at this point, she no longer starts thinking logically in terms of, well, usually you judge people based off their actions, right? What this man has actually shown me, and based off of how I've been treated, the hard concrete, that is the logical brain. You now will all of a sudden start relying on your emotions, and because your girl got your back on everything, you're gonna feel like it'll be very over time. You start creating scenarios in your head that aren't even there.
I get what you're saying, and that
it's
and what you're saying that
it's
leaks in.
it's no different than wife, or it's no different than a baby mama or a divorced couple, and the mother starts creating a mother can get in a child and your dad ain't shit, da 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 ain't shit, and your da da da. Those are literally creating ounces of doubt in a child, where the child never had those personal relationship, those personal experiences that you're projecting on him or her. You never had those, but you'd be surprised how you're almost in a way grooming, that's the right term, somebody to think a certain way over time. It's no different than how a television will start playing slowly by slowly little images of Jews, little small things of Jews, and over time, an entire country can think the Jew is the bad man. Same thing, same regard of how every cartoon, in America, it's pretty small little images of a black man being dangerous. Make sure you put it in cartoons. Make sure you put it. Over time, you just start shaping mindsets.
Oh yeah, I get you saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but once again, you're just dropping little ounces. They can't eat it all at once. It's too much, and it would be
for example, like, remember, I mean, it was a time where I was in elementary school, and they programmed to the point where they had like somebody in the Taliban walk into the airport, like little comedy cartoon thing, and everybody run out the way. Or they even do skits of that. And now it's to the point where as soon as somebody has that, it's like boom, boom. It's like, what the hell? Like,
wow. Yeah. No, yeah, I was gonna say you'd be surprised. I once had a conversation about that with somebody. I was saying I feel bad for. I mean, I feel bad for Muslims in a sense where, like, it's just like you think about it. You can never walk in. Let's keep it a buck, bro. A Muslim or an Arabic man walks in. I mean, I'm kind of conflating them both, but we do get the same emotional response from whether they're Arabic or if they're Sikh with a turban, right? We have been programmed to somehow all of a sudden, bro, one of them niggas sit in the plane. I promise you, I put money on this. I swear, not because we truly believe that way, but there is definitely a trigger. If one of them is in a plane, I know for a fact, when you walk in a plane, let's say with that nigga that has a turban, a Sikh, man
Yeah,
is, let's say, in first class and he got seated first, right? He one of them.
yeah.
I bet you every nigga that is going to economy and coach that is passing him on first, every nigga probably had that thought. I can't swear to God. You know what I'm saying? And that's no
Got
bullshit. That's just how it. But how do you blame them, bro? Like from cartoons to the 9/11, then we talk about 11/2 and the power of 11. You know what I'm saying?
perfect
So
example. Real quick, just perfect example. I wanted to show this is the thing that right here, and I ain't gonna lie, it's so satire, but watch this.
that's so stupid, man. That's funny, man.
Everybody like you just walk,
But
like you just
literally
walk in there.
everybody does did. I mean, I know it's a kid too,
Look,
but
look, you just throw that, and everybody
he
just,
did
oh
that.
hell,
And
look
they
at the
did.
fuck around
Yeah.
here.
I've seen one of those too of an elevator, and
That's crazy. That's crazy, man. You see what I'm saying, though? How what you was back to what you were saying about how just a little ounce, not too much, and how it just like,
and
and
really
then
it's
with
an
the
ounce. It's an ounce every quarter. Right, every quarter we
Mm,
get a big blockbuster movie of America and some bomb. You know, we got a Black Hawk Down, then we got a this, we got, you know what I'm saying? We got
yeah,
ounces of that in every capacity, and then on top of that, we have an attachment to it. Like, bro, like we just not even big. I don't know what you say. Like, yeah, it's just look. At the end of the day, once you bring somebody in, they end up being a confidant. It's just how it is. Like. In a way, it's like, I don't know I don't know why this just came into my head, but I think about like, I just out of nowhere, I just thought about this example. Selena and her manager.
Selena. Oh, you talking
Selena,
the one who got shot?
Selena, come on, man, eh? Como la flor, come on, man, yes. And I think I look
Yeah,
at that manager and go, "You a narcissist, motherfucker. You probably got really close to." And then then you hear, oh, you heard about how she used to talk about her all
no,
the time.
it was
No, but just that you would see those interviews. There was something so fake and manufactured about it, and you can totally tell. And I used to be in Selena's ear all the time and telling her how beautiful. You can tell she's just there to, you know what I'm saying? But at the
perfect.
time,
Hold on.
I don't know why it just came into my mind out of the fucking blue. But I
We
know
on it
for a
right
fact
here.
that, yeah, you can tell this is somebody who works to get to Selena, especially as a young
She is
lady.
weak now.
Well, I'm gonna go to what you saying that just so I could get what the hell. Okay.
Yeah,
on
how
her
she
new boutique business.
She was like a cuddling bear, teddy bear, that she would allow you to love her. I told her that I loved her like a daughter. And she goes, you know, I give you that right. She would call me mom on the phone. She called you mom. Yeah, she, hi mom, how you doing?
Let's
What do you think?
go. And those endearing terms are in every way psychological psyop, because by using that at that point, she is associating herself with family. So even at that point, even saying no to this manager, even in personal, I'm pretty sure even within personal requests, it felt like turning your back on the family, because she is now all of a sudden shaping herself, grooming her to start looking her not as a manager, but as a family member. You're giving her endearing terms, not only mother, family, you also at this point giving her endearing um conversations and affirmations that in every way you think about it. If somebody tells you look good, it's a fucking dopamine hit, and if you keep getting
Oof.
that all the time, it's no different than a girl who likes to get attention from a guy. That's a dopamine hit every time, and she's gonna keep you around.
Ooh,
She
see,
can
now you
get,
going.
because at that point, because now it is the same, so you can see how she can easily get into her inner circle, but deep down there is an animosity within that woman that at some point was counting down to her death.
Let me see this. Let me see what you're going with
Or
it.
she still stands by today.
Look at her
What
interviews.
happened that morning when Selena arrived?
Look.
Did she say she wanted to fire you?
That never. She never told me that. I was telling her to leave. And I said, it's over, Selena. It's over. I can't work for you no more. I can't work for you no more. She went down. She grabbed my feet and told me not to leave her. And I
Fuck
picked her
that
up and I told
bullshit.
her, just leave. And I grabbed the gun, put it in my...
All right, so okay, I gotta put the nonverbal cues in there. She was lying when
Right.
she said she's telling half the truth, because when she said she
On
had
the
got down
floor.
to her, yeah, she got down to her
Mm-hmm.
feet and everything. Now that part
Mm-hmm.
right there, I'm gonna say that is true, but she's not revealing why Selena did that. Like she made it seem like she was the one like, no, you gotta leave and all that. No, I
She
believe
probably was on
from
the
that.
floor from being scared, but she's using that
Yeah,
as a mean. Yeah. And then putting in the
exactly.
gun in her head, I think that is a euphemism when you putting the gun in. That putting the gun in, I think really what she's doing right now is what you did to Selena. So there's a half truth of maybe Selena being on the floor, but you didn't put that gun to your head, you put it to hers. So she was saying truth about her being in the position. You're right, B. Come on, G. I don't know why she came into my head, but this is a great segue. This is some new,
But check
new
this
kind
out
of
though.
content. Go ahead.
If she didn't want her to leave or nothing, why is it that she was shot from the upper left shoulder part from her back?
Now
That
you're
seems like
going with
somebody's
the
trying to run away. Ballistics. Let's go. What you said?
now you get into autopsy shit. I like, for me, I appreciate Dick Gregory because Dick Gregory brought that. Just a quick little. Dick Gregory was talking about Malcolm X and how he was shot. And before my entire life, I always thought he was shot by those black folks at the bottom, right? To be owned. Then I remember, no, really, but that's what was portrayed. Obviously being overseas in Kenya, you always thought, damn, like because we do have those even in Kenya, and you think about it, the Mau Mau, which were freedom riders, right? Who's snitching them out? It was one of them, one of his own that snitched out to the British. There's always that story of there's always a Judas. So we always thought there were a few Judases in the camp. Maybe they were for sure, but then you realize in the autopsy, I remember in one of his little quick rants, he said like, "Look at the fucking bullets. The bullets came from up top. You always thought it
At
was
a
from the bottom,
diagonal.
in a diagonal." And then he dropped that gem about how the CIA had rented that same space a week before.
Oh yeah, they can make stuff. Come on, man. Like we ain't gonna go to we go too deep in it. We can, but I mean, ever since JFK, I already knew they was badass. I already knew they was off the chain.
And don't forget, by the way, back to her. Don't forget, once they learn everything about you and everything, they can speak freely about you. And it's at the end of the day, they can turn you. They become your biggest confidant and somebody who knows you. But at this point, because they have that cachet of knowledge about you, they can use it to their advantage. Now at this point, I was her best friend and da da da. Well,
Tupac
you
and
kind of
Jada.
what? Yeah, and you had the that's another man. That woman is something, B. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, no. I ain't even go.
I pulled the thing back. And I said, if you don't leave, I'm going to do it, Selena. And she got up and she says, Mom, we need to talk about this. We need to talk about this. I'm going to close the door. And when she was walking to the door, she was going at an angle. And I told her, don't close the door. And in that instant, the gun went off.
But why didn't it hit you?
Because I was pointing to the door and it just went.
Did you know she was hit?
No, I did not know.
There was blood.
Come on, she had the gun to Selena head, and Selena trying to reason with her, and then she made a break for it, and she's
Let's
like, "Oh
keep it a
hell
bug.
no!"
Let's keep
She's
it a
like, "Oh
bug. I
hell
haven't.
no!"
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, let's give it a bug. I haven't seen this doc in a while, and it's definitely a while since we got in depth about her. I got in depth about her like my last year of high school in a Spanish class. But if I'm not mistaken, you were caught stealing money, and she was about to fire you. And the moment she walked out the door, you were gonna have no access to that camp.
and she wanted the thing is the reason why she confronted her is because she had opened the door, like how you said, mirroring. She felt like she was approaching her auntie or her mama because she had opened that door for her to make it seem like if she was just a regular hairstylist or whatever, what was she, a manager?
She was the manager. She was her actual manager. She ran
Okay,
everything, all the
so
affairs. But
yeah,
she found manipulatively. She found a way to. Don't forget, Selena also was. Selena is legit Mexican Aaliyah. She is that in that regard, where she is their sweetheart, where you watch her. In America, there is a soft spot for the sweethearts who we have watched grow. You understand? Because those kids who grow up, Miley Cyrus, the Home Alone kid, all these kids are reflections of if I'm that kid is being watched by my kid, so in a way becomes if I have a 6-year-old kid who's super into Macaulay Culkin all of a sudden has interest in me. I have interest in Macaulay Culkin because in a way that coming of age experience my child is going through is being vicariously lived through you. So now I have an attachment to you, Miley Cyrus, etc., Ariana Grande. So they have the same with her because she grew up at like fucking 15 or 16. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So
So you on that? Go ahead.
yeah, so now that's a very moldable time. Then at this point, this is one of those girls who grew up in the ranch, the ranchero. You know what I'm saying? Fucking in
Texas.
bumfuck Texas. Not really bumfuck, but you know what I'm saying? Like, just she's a rural girl. Let me not use that word because I love it. I love going out there. It's salsa all the time. I dance all the time. I go. I love corridos. So, no, for sure. But I'm saying at the end of the day, these are people who are ranch. They live in ranches, horse. You know what I'm saying? So, and even in the 90s, all of a sudden now take this girl who comes from a conventional Hispanic family, and they're from the outskirts of fucking Texas, all of a sudden being on every front. And you know what it is? At the same time she gets this fame, she also is on this coming of age experience of actually becoming a woman, right? This phase of, you see it in everybody. Whitney Houston going from a church girl and now she's trying to be bad, right? Michael Jackson going from uh fucking off the wall, real calm, real, even that childlike, whatever, and now I'm bad. This transition, but she can go through it. So she's bringing all these new influences in her life, and this one happened to know how to hook onto her mother the best, because now she has to now go into the real world. She found ways to get
Exactly.
to. She found ways to get. It's just how you groom. It's the same thing with a child. A child wants confirmation bias. Da, da, da. She knew She knew how to get to Selena immediately. And once you was siphoning all that money,
Yeah,
all of a
but
sudden
check this out.
she.
You would come with
Go
the
ahead.
police, but if she didn't put that family oriented way in it, I believe either she would have fired her, she would have got somebody to fire her, or the police would have showed up where she was at to handle it. But the
Hmm.
way that she had to show up, it's like almost like a mom. Why would you do this? Or
Yeah, the
what was
manager
going?
became a mom. But then again,
Yeah,
think about it. I'm not gonna lie. This is very evident. Sorry to cut you off. This is also very evident with you see this too. I mean, I don't blame her. You see this oftentimes. I'm gonna be honest. I don't blame her at the same time, because when you're dealing with a child act, as a manager, you low-key have to also be a mom, because anything the child does being a minor is also a reflection of you being the overseer. So this is now it's just a matter of you, whoever you pick. Hopefully, she doesn't end up being this chick. You know what I'm saying? Because if that's why usually when you have child actors or celebrities, it's their parents that become the managers. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and the Lee Choppers, your Lil Yachty's. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to give it to Diddy, and then Diddy's gonna put my son through Puffy Camp. You know what I'm
okay,
saying?
y'all boys been hitting them
No,
Diddy jokes a lot. What?
no, but you know what I'm saying? You are now at your child's youth, and better yet, even at this point, life in her situation is at the expense of somebody else's narcissism. Instead of you watching that, instead of that being. Now, don't get me wrong, that's not always the best case, because then you have situations where, where you do have a family situation where you're not outsourcing that kind of chaperoning or the management from somewhere else. Now you're dealing with a Jackson 5 where now the leadership is coming from your parents, but he bitten the fuck out of you. You know what I'm saying? It does shape you to become the best. So it can go both ways. You can either outsource the leadership and this point of the management, and then you end up with this, or it can be within house like a Jackson 5, and you traumatize the shit out of these children for life.
Made them stars.
And baby, man, please, yeah, but at
Janet
what
said
expense?
nobody talk about her dad but her. Nobody talk about my daddy but my daddy. That's what Janet said.
But at what expense? Because now you're seeing, you're seeing all at what expense?
Side effects
Michael Jackson's the side effects were, for me, it's like
and
when
the
I see him
daughter.
when I see it for him, it's with the kids. And like, let's say, oh, why would he's such a weirdo? He hangs out with children, but he had literally no childhood. By the age of
Like a
6, this
gymnast.
nigga, bro, by the age of 6, this nigga had done more than this nigga's cat. Like, okay, by the age of 6, this nigga had done more than most human beings do. Not only as Jackson 5, but this nigga is on a fucking internationally syndicated cartoon. This nigga, you know what I'm saying? Then he gets every part of his life. Every part of this nigga's life at this point is like, from like age 1. Okay, how about this? I always say this: from age 21 to 24 or whatever, this nigga's life can rival anybody else's career, you know? Now and as you get older, every interaction, and I feel bad, like I feel bad for all these kids who end up becoming celebrities as kids, because every interaction you have as a kid is transactional. Now
You mean
you never
transactional? Like transactional. Can you
celebrity,
explain that?
when you're a celebrity, bro, like, and especially as a child celebrity, every interaction you have is transactional because at this point, they're not looking at you as a kid. You are you are an IP, like a business. You're not a person anymore. So that's why,
Entity?
like, yeah, that's why most kids who are famous when they're young get these inflated egos. You're now this. You can move the mountains. You don't grow up and like learn. You don't have like, how do I put this? Like when you're a child actor, everyone is using you, like your money. Like through you can make millions of dollars. Like you're not there for a child like in a natural way, or you're looking at this person as how can I benefit of you, or you know what I'm saying? That's which is extremely odd and extremely the worst thing to do, to look at a child this way. So then they end up being fucked up. That's why you end up seeing like these kids, you always see these horror stories like of almost all these Disney kids ending up in such a bad way because real life hits them really hard. But I'm saying like, look at Michael. Michael was deprived of a childhood. I don't blame him for creating a theme park. Nigga he's never even had a normal life, you know?
That's what he's saying. He's saying
Boom,
most of this is the
exactly.
same. Yeah, same with attractive people from an early age. Someone wants something from you, and
Yes,
that's
which
tough.
creates a distrust because at that point you realize it feels transactional. It's a great example is we've been with narcissistic abuse and even at homes when you are dealing with people and let's say something nice is done for you, it's always done with like let's say I do something nice with you, but every time I'm doing it with an IOU, or I'm doing it with, and I'm gonna use it against you later, right? Over time as a kid, if that's always done to you, you never gonna like gifts or compliments because you always gonna feel like there's something coming afterwards. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
These
what do
are
you want?
these are the people who never people, and I gotta be honest, I'm one of them where unfortunately I had to go through this in many situations where
Oh, you sound like you got disconnected, buddy. Hold on. Hello? Yeah, I'm about to say, hold on, let me see if it's my mic. Testing, testing. Okay, so it is your mic. I think, let me see if I can hear you through the phone. Hold on. Testing. Okay, so it is your mic. I think, let me see if I can hear you through the phone. Okay, yeah, that's true. It is your mic. Um, well, this is kind of on time actually because we passed the hour mark anyway, and we was cooking, y'all. So y'all know I'm gonna have to do the thumbnail. Ulterior motive, exactly. I'm gonna have to do the thumbnail for you, Brian. We're gonna talk after this live. I got 2 timestamps to do. Hopefully, you could come back in and close it out. I'll give you like a minute and a half to come back up. But other than that, this right here has been very educational, and I'm about to chop this. I'm about to timestamp it, and I think I get like 3 clips from this right here. That was very important, especially when you was talking about not only Selena situation, but with the other lady when you was breaking it down. Okay, now you back in. Let's go. What's up, man? Your audio good? Dang, I think probably your phone. I don't know what's going on. Probably
I'm
you got
back.
me in it.
You
Okay, you
good?
good, you good. Yeah, I can hear you now. Go ahead.
That was
My
odd.
bad.
Okay, that was odd. I don't. What was I doing, sir? I don't know what happened.
I
What
have
was I talking about?
the audio just had stopped working on your end, but we was coming past the hour mark, and I was gonna let you rock out for like you can rock out for like I give it like till 1 minute and 15 seconds, like 7 minutes. Dang, my number's off. I use 7 minutes to finish to close it up to rock it out, and we gonna keep this up weekly. You know what I'm saying? Because we had learned a lot from here. Go ahead, bro.
Ah, okay. We were just talking on, but well, I don't know what we did. Kind of close out, and I kind of forgot where were we at. No, but you might need to refresh me real quick so we can close out.
Okay. So you was talking about because Mofax he interjected that this is the same with attractive people from an early age. Someone wants something from you, a hidden agenda, and you was just saying about compliments. When they compliment, be like, "Oh, you pretty," or "You
Ah,
this," and they
yeah.
get offended because they're like, "What do you want? What you want something?" Or. That's what you had
I
me
don't
go
even.
at.
No, yeah, no, no, it's true. Well, Mo is right though. When you're, it's always transactional, and you start getting, you will never. For pretty people, some people might get really uncomfortable with compliments because as a kid, even with your caregivers, it was always manipulative, right? It may have been to means to get at you or to manipulate you to do something, but they know how to get to your sweet spot. I was saying, uh, what's it called? No, pretty people. What's the other? What was the example before that? My apologies, Anita. Can you also hear me too? By the way, I want to make sure my internet's
I hear
straight.
you.
I had to go through and unplug. I think there's a problem with my Wi-Fi. I'm gonna go LTE.
Same with mines too. I think they working in. They know that we gave out too much game, but it's all good. Like you open the way you break down a narcissist thing. It's like again with people who say with nonverbal cues. It's like everybody sees this and everybody kind of knows this in a way, but I guess once I point it out, people be like, "Oh, okay." So same thing you with the narcissistic thing, and with
Yeah,
the aspects of it, like grandiose. I was like, "Whoa!" Like stuff like that, and these examples you use, and you had came up, you pulled Selena's manager, out of thin air, and how you
I don't know
broke
why she
that
just
down.
popped up. I don't know why she
That's
just popped up
good.
in my head, but she
Flow
did.
state.
Oh, but then at the same time, I was saying, even with a transaction, it's kind of like being in a home, and every time you got a gift when you were a kid, somebody later, the person who gave you the gift and be your mom or your dad was like, "Remember I gave you that thing?" And now
Yeah,
that gift is being hung on your head. And let's say you
yeah.
do that enough, rinse and repeat, you may no longer like gifts because you think that by you giving me the gift, you might meet somebody.
Great question.
It is an absolute defense mechanism to trauma. It is a
Okay.
defense. It absolutely is. It just differs in how we experience it, what we're experiencing. Oh, big time. Narcissism is like a disorder, but it's like, yeah, you don't just, it's interesting. Like we all have really beautiful souls. That's why it's so innocent. We're so innocent, but all of a sudden there is a defense mechanism that takes place when you start getting your experience within, that's why I told Grump this before. Show me there's an old saying in the eastern side of the world. Show me a child in his first 7 years, I'll show you the man that lies before you. Your experiences within your original caregivers tend to shape who you are. Energy is not destroyed, it's merely passed on. So what you experience with them, they pretty much shape your anxieties, your perceptions of oneself, everything about you. And then with seven, as I said, the seven is God's number. Seven, your brain tends to lock in. Then seven going into 14, 14 hits puberty, locks that in, and then 14 goes to 21. You end up being an adult, locks that in, and the last chapter of your entire character arc, 28.
28,
I don't know,
and I'm
and that's when.
28.
And what do they usually say? The male brain tends to what?
Fully
28, doesn't
developed.
it? Fully developed. So essentially, those stages within your life is what essentially create that character arc. You know what I'm saying? And within your experience, but the first 7 years is the absolute foundation. So it is a defense mechanism to what you experience within your first, because you know, they're the ones who your original caregivers are the ones who essentially give you a blueprint for what you then will chase after. You may have a narc mom, but at this point, we tend to look for a significant other in the past. What do they say? We tend to look for somebody who represents our mom. You don't
Yeah.
even realize, because at that point you don't realize the inner child in you, whatever you experienced with your mom, they perceive that as love
Ooh, now you're
for
going deep,
whatever it
baby
is,
boy.
for whatever it is, for whatever it was in that household that you don't, and if you don't fix that within time, within that high school era, going in, you then end up going into your last era chasing that. That's why a stripper in itself or a sex worker within her 20s usually tells you that they usually have an issue. They usually had a sexual encounter with their personal caregiver, and because they didn't deal with it, their body and their brain not only blocking it out, but now this one also treated it as this is what love looks like, and then they start cheapening even the idea of sex, etc., and they're going into their 20s.
Damn, 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 man. Damn. I just that was lit. That was a good way to end it right there because you about to touch 1 minute and 1 hour and 15 seconds, 15 minutes. But here's the
Sure.
thing though. Uh this is not your last time coming on here. We're gonna be weekly with this. I gotta do the timestamps and I'm gonna have 2 to 3 clips released off this live as well because it's very important. for people to digest. And you know, we're gonna have you next up on it. Mo said 2 great guests tonight. And yeah, they're gonna be reoccurring, man. That's why I appreciate y'all for stopping by. You too, Mo Facts, especially you, Brian. We'll talk back. We'll talk more on the back end. But this
Shout
right
out to
here
Mo
was
too, by the
phenomenal.
way.
Yeah,
Thank you,
shouts
thank
out to
you.
Mo.
Shout out to Mo too, and also Bobby. I don't know who else is in there.
Bobby up in there
I'm
too, yeah.
I'm catching up on most stuff. I just texted him in your last live. The fucking pink
Pink
Range Rover
Panther,
and Bentley. No, 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 no,
Pink
no.
Bentley, yeah.
Yeah, that shit made me. I don't know what he said, but he was like, "You want your lawyer pulling up and looking like Dipset." Oh man, that's the crazy. Now I'm catching up on all his lives. There's a bunch. And Mo. I remember Mo's great. I want to tell you personally, there was a great live with he has a live. I know this is going. I know you're gonna cut it off at 1:15, so we can
But
pretty much.
go ahead,
But
keep yeah.
there was just a great live he had recently about slave Negro spirituals going into um
MC
the
Whoopin,
and tuners, etc.
tuners, fine tuning and all.
Wow,
Yep.
wow, 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 wow. That was the most eye-opening shit I've heard in a long time. Man, fucking that dude is doing
Spirituals
God's
and all
work.
that. Yeah, he
Yeah,
definitely
no. He's doing God's work.
swing
That
high,
shit was
swing low.
yes. I was like, all these were pretty much coded language. Nah, you
Yeah.
crazy. You
Yeah, he
crazy.
off the chain with that.
That
That's
one
what I'm
was like,
saying.
nah. You can't buy this shit. You know, I always say this. When Mo dies, you know, it's like in Africa. He's one of those people where a library dies.
Exact. See, that's what I've been trying to tell him, man. But you know,
Not, not that I
trying
want
to
that,
make
but
sure.
I'm just saying, God forbid, when that time comes along, long time from now.
I feel you, man. I feel you. It's a lot saying thing, you know, but it's with Mo Facts and shouts out to Deep Impressions too. That's another brother of us who definitely be coming in through, and he has wisdom on his end as well. We appreciate y'all, but Mo, that episode you did right there, I forgot the number of it, but that was off the chain. How he had broke it down. He said MC and priests and how it trans the church and how you see it just went all the way down are important so that we never die. Okay, see, exactly. That's the point. That's the point. That's perfect way to say this is why this is why recording our stories are important so that we never die. Exactly.
And making music. Speaking of Mo, I know you're making music. I really want to hear what Mo's music sound like.
Oh, you ain't heard that, but Boldy. Hey, I'm gonna have to probably send you the link. Hey Mo,
Oh, send the
I sent
link,
to you
bro.
through.
Drop
I
the
sent through.
hits.
Yeah. He definitely cooking up stuff up in there, man.
Oh shit, this
Laboratory
is
cooking.
crazy.
Don't. We ain't sleeping on that right there. But Bobby, not Bobby. Brian, the narcissistic expert. I know you probably don't like that, but I just keep on saying it because you keep on unlocking realms and bringing awareness to me on certain aspects of it because I'm not too hip to it. I fell victim because them slinging that word so much. It's like I guess when it has something to do about
Yeah.
me, that's
It
narcissist.
waters it down. I
It
think
waters
the way
down.
people just got it. It absolutely watered it down. And
Yeah,
most of the people who are using it and really realistically were the ones who were that. If sometimes you break it down, so they were just projecting it on others. Like you would hear that on like a Fresh and Fit type of podcast, but you look around and like, oh yeah, narcissist. You know what I'm saying? Or
yeah.
at least not really, but you know what I'm saying. It's just the same people. They almost in a way just projecting what is. Yeah, it got watered down. I think TikTok
Hot
was a part
potato
of
it.
it.
Yeah.
I think TikTok was a part of it. Not to mention, it started getting used by the teenage I guess the teenage population, but they don't even have a full understanding of what that is because they're still within house. I think a lot of understanding needs to take place when you're outside of the house or at least get older. Some of this shit you actually got to grow. I also do wonder, like, I know I'm gonna let this go, but I wonder, like, some of this knowledge took 28 years to actually go through. Maybe because some of it wasn't fully accessed, but I feel like there's also life. So I wonder how these kids are dealing with life, having all that information at 15. Because you haven't had life yet to digest. I feel like life still has to take place to digest. It's kind of like why you don't feel like it's authentic when you get a YouTube commercial of some 15-year-old telling you how, yeah, I want to be your life coach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I wonder how these kids are like. Anyway, just a random thought. But I know I'm past the 119. We can do this. I like to. We can do this another time.
Excuse me, the dog over here acting up crazy. Hold on one
No worries, no worries.
My bad. You keep going. My bad. I gotta dang do some straightening after this. But go ahead.
No, it's okay. I'm actually I don't even know. I was thinking about the type of dog you were. Whatever. I don't know. I lost what I was thinking about. I'm a little
Okay, it's not
scatterbrained at the
my.
moment.
Okay, first of all, let's get it straight. It's not my dog, but it is a Chihuahua. Okay, but you know we're gonna
Okay,
end
I
it
was
on
gonna
that
say.
one right there. Peace, love to everybody. I gotta handle some business, but I'm gonna talk to you, Brian, after this though. Peace.
All right, sounds good.